Alright friends, I'm excited because I am finally about to post a self-care Sunday video on Sunday and not in the middle of the week. So for me, that right there is growth. But first, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to join an awesome, wonderful self-care community. You know you want to. That's why you're here. That's why you clicked on this video. But okay, so we're halfway through our Self-Care Sunday series, and what better to talk about than our good old friend, growth. So in Self-Care Sunday, we want all of our topics to flow into each other, right? So the first week we discussed presence and mindfulness, which help us quiet the noise and come into a state of peace and serenity and our accountability and just really having a second to sit back, reel it all in, be in the moment, be serene, right? And when we're in a serene space, it allows room for thankfulness, for us to be aware of the things that we have to be thankful for, to be able to express gratitude for where we were and where we've come from to where we are now to where we're going, right? The path that we are on. And that's what we want to discuss in our topic of growth. You want to make sure you're watering yourself and giving yourself the things that you need to grow, planting those necessary seeds of all of those things that you need to just develop into your best possible self. So in our Self-Care Sunday sessions, I gave everyone money trees because we're welcoming abundance into our life. We don't recognize the daily growth of any plant that we have, but 7 months down the road, you look at it and you're like, damn, that's not what you looked like 7 months ago, right? So the growth is happening. It's happening slowly and steadily. But in order for this growth to happen, we have to care for the plant, right? It has to get its nutrients. We have to water it. We have to make sure the foundation and the soil and that their roots are not rotting from any outside substances, mold, insects, animals, things like that. And I specifically chose a money tree because they're supposed to welcome in abundance and prosperity into your life. It doesn't have to just be financial abundance and prosperity. You can be wealthy in knowledge. You can be wealthy in spirit. You can be wealthy in so many things other than just money. So to kind of add some structure to our conversation, the first thing that I do want to talk about is perseverance. Kind of think about and reflect on a time in your life where you went through something and you really in that moment just didn't think that you could do it. You didn't know what was on the other side. You didn't know how you were coming out of it, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You were just not in a good place. And then, think about where you are now and today and how you persevered through that situation. We all walk different lives and we all have been through something lifelong lasting that's always going to stick with us through and through. We'll always remember this time. I don't really like dwelling on the past too much, but I specifically wanted to bring up this time of trial and tribulation because I wanted to give everyone a moment to recognize that you are strong. You made it through whatever it was that you were going through in that moment and you felt like you wasn't gonna make it through. Look at where you are today, and if it is something that is still impacting you today, kind of reflect, are you really where you were in that moment? How have you grown since then? And even if the growth is so minimal, you want to acknowledge that small amount of growth. Bringing it back to plants, right? Plants grow over time. Trees, they start from small little things. We have to kind of acknowledge life like that. A lot of the times we're expecting quick, fast results. We want to work to where we're trying to get to and be gracious and grateful for the journey getting to where we're trying to go. Slowing down again, right? We talked about slowing down, being in the moment, really taking everything step by step into the sun's coming back. But I'm gonna keep going. So really taking everything step by step into your end goal, appreciating where you are now, because times have been hard and times will probably get hard again. You have to be able to hone in on the strength inside of you, your ability to persevere. Like, we are able to persevere through the toughest times, and that should not go unnoticed, and that should not be forgotten. I am dropping gems right now, and it's just, the sun is doing its thing. Wonderful. We love the sun, but we also love clear content. Where was I? It kind of messed up my stream of consciousness, but we were talking perseverance. Perseverance, strength, like just all of that power that you have within you. Acknowledging the strength that you have from within. And to build on the perseverance, right, we're going to move into abundance. So whenever you were going through that tough time, like, acknowledge what resources you use to get out of that time. Are there still more of those resources? Can you create new resources, new solutions? Just knowing that your life in itself is abundant. Your growth is infinite, right? You are continuously growing. Your journey is a forever journey. There is never an end to your journey. Even when we have goals, once we are on our way to achieving our goals, we always come up with new goals. New goals formulate out of the previous goals that we had. If you're not continuously growing, like, that's a different conversation that needs to be had. Connecting your plant to self. Tree branches, they break off, they grow back. Leaves, they fall off, they grow back. There are always going to be challenges that you have to face that are an opportunity for growth. To learn something that you didn't know before, or to put something in practice that you previously learned. When we go through seasons changing, the fall comes, the leaves turn colors, they fall off, they are able to sustain through the winter. Some trees fall, yes, again, that just goes into life. The more rooted you are, the less likely you are to be knocked down by anyone or anything. Like, the more
rooted you are, the less likely you are to be knocked down by anyone or anything.
After the winter, the springtime comes, new leaves start to blossom, flowers start to blossom. Then we're in the summer and the trees are at their peak. They're at their best, they're bright, they're green, they're full. And we also go through that in our lives as well. We experience those times and those moments of, where everything is down and we need rest. We need to rebuild ourselves. We need that time of hibernation to figure things out, and that's okay. And all of those things, I feel like, are growth. When you do come to a point and you realize that I need to take a step back, I need to reel it in, I need to disconnect, I need to be by myself, and I need to water myself and nourish myself so I can grow into my best self. So also, when we're caring for our plants, there's usually a tip that when you see the dead leaves or the rotting roots, you trim those away. You trim away the dead leaves and the rotting roots so they don't taint the other leaves and the other roots. Think about the things that you need to trim from your life. Think about the things that are no longer working for you to make room for new things to come in. Usually we look at loss as bad, loss of a relationship, loss of friendships, loss of a job, loss of something in our lives that meant so much to us and probably still do mean a lot. But when one door closes, another door opens. Trim away the things that no longer serve you to allow space for the things that you want to come into your life. If you're dwelling in anger and frustration and sadness and all of these negative emotions, it's going to be 10 times harder for the opportunities and the abundance that you're looking for to come into your life. We're going to get into that in our final week topic, but trimming away the things that no longer serve you is definitely a great practice to allow space for new things and new opportunities to make their way into your life. So whether it's a drug abuse, alcohol abuse, sex abuse, like things that you overindulge in that can be possibly hindering you. Gossiping. We gossip so much without even realizing that we're gossiping. And that goes back to the mindfulness week, right? Being impeccable with your word, being aware of the poison that you're spreading through your word. This is a week where I literally want all of you to acknowledge your growth. Acknowledge your growth. There is an abundance of resources for you to get through the things that you need to get through. Your life is ever changing. Your life is ever growing. Don't get too caught up in the little details and the how and the why. Just know what you're doing. It's the what that matters. Not the how, not the why, the what. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is it that you're trying to get to? Let's focus on what it is so we can find ways to build up to it, right? So we can grow, so we can root ourselves down in our purpose, in our goals, in all of the things that we see for ourselves. Now we're at the point of our manifestation stage where we're in action. And whether that action is resting or doing, you're still consciously making action towards what it is that you want. You had your space of stillness, quiet, you reflected. Now you know what it is. What do you need next? What do we need to get to where we need to go? That space that we created for peace and serenity allows us to connect to our higher selves, to our intuition, to really hear what it is that we need. Enforcing the boundaries that we discussed in our mindfulness week, whether or not we visually see our growth, it is happening every day, every minute, every second. Don't hinder yourself from growing by, holding on to the details that don't really matter, thinking too far into the future. Do what you can do and do what you have within your control to do. And on top of all of the benefits that plants serve for the purpose of this topic of growth, they are also beautiful to look at. They provide oxygen into your space, clean, fresh air for you to breathe in, something for you to connect with and be mindful and present with, and just admire its beauty and just promote a peaceful, calm environment. So again, all of these topics, they all mean something. They all mean something and they all come together. So that's where I'm going to end this until next week when we talk about... Yeah, you thought I was going to tell you right now? You're just going to have to wait and see again. So thanks for joining me again for another week of Self-Care Sunday. There are 2 more left. So hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications. If you're really enjoying what I'm talking about, if any of this resonates with you, we could talk, we could be friends in our community. So have a great, prosperous week, my friends, and don't sell yourself short and acknowledge your growth.